Hi Mark, thanks for doing this.
No problem.
So we're here. We're going to talk to you about exactly how you got from where you were before we met and did stuff together to where you are now. And I want you to be completely honest and upfront about what happened to you. You know, what the challenges you faced and what you did. So let's start by just you giving us a bit of background on about where you were with making music, with your sort of creative ambitions before you decided to take the plunge.
So, I think I definitely had quite strong ambitions when I started the course, but I was in a place where I felt that I kind of had all this ambition, but I wasn't really kind of going anywhere with it. And I don't think I really had like a good sense of progress, I guess, and maybe also like a kind of sense of kind of commitment and focus with my music. Kind of a bit of frustration, I guess, really on the whole with the process.
What had you completed before the program? What was your kind of how many tunes had you done in what amount of time? Let's be quite specific so people can actually get an idea of what you know where you were at specifically. I know that's not the only measure of music, but it is something that is measurable. So
yeah, I mean probably a few finished tracks a year, I'd say. That I could probably count on one hand at best, kind of thing.
So like 5 or something in a year.
Probably a bit less, to be honest, but yeah, maybe 3 or 4 or something like that.
And how did you feel about those tracks?
Okay, I was always kind of like pleased when I got something out there. Yeah, kind of yeah, I don't know, kind of okay. I guess I've always been pleased when I've managed to like get to that stage of having something kind of out the door, but it kind of felt like I don't know, a bit more of a random process in getting there. Like there was, I guess for all of those like kind of 3 or 4 tunes or whatever that I'd done, there were probably like a billion project files like sitting on a hard disk that hadn't really gone anywhere, kind of thing.
You had the graveyard hard drive or something.
definitely, yeah. Yes. Well, the graveyard, and then like backed everything up, deleted everything, and then start again at the graveyard.
Oh, really?
And, like, kind of been through a couple of graveyards, I think.
Oh, really? Okay, great. So you'd kind of wiped the slate clean and said, right, This is it. Okay, excellent. So what would you say was? Well, no. Let's right now say where you are now, so that people can see like the sort of before and after shot. So what's going on for you now? How fast are you finishing tunes? How are you doing it? You know, what's going on at the moment?
I'd say probably on average, like I finish a tune in a week.
Right.
Sometimes
brilliant.
Less, sometimes a bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, sometimes even just in a few days, most of the tracks done really. I had no kind of like, I guess as well, like as finishing stuff kind of, what's the best way to verbalize this? As well as just kind of like having like laid a track out in a few days, like I'm also at the point where I've kind of, I feel I've like mixed the track really well. I'm sending tracks off for mastering, and I'm sending tracks off to labels. And that was like, sorry.
No, go on. Just finish what you were saying, because I was just going to ask you about the mixing, but just finish what you were saying.
So yeah, I guess whereas I was just kind of like I'd kind of do a track and I'd kind of put it online, and that was my finished track process, and I did a few of that a year. Like my process now is like I've done the track, I've laid it out, I've mixed it, I've sent it to someone for mastering, I've sent that out to a load of labels. I'm trying to sell some stuff myself online a bit as well. So it's gone from just being me just kind of doing a track here and there on the side to me like really doing the whole process and being totally committed to kind of,
excellent,
doing it properly, I guess.
Brilliant. And the reason I interrupted you so rudely then was because I'm really excited by a particular part of your story, which you emailed me about a couple of weeks ago, where, because I remember, I don't know, it was at the start of the program or in the middle of the program, you one of the things that you wrote on the forum was that you weren't confident with your mixing.
Totally. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So.
Yeah. Do you want me to talk about?
Yeah. You just tell us the story.
So I wasn't confident at all, really, and I remember kind of talking with you and some people on the forum and thinking, like, really, I'd just kind of go and get someone else to do it, because it was something I just couldn't really do myself. And just really through, like, you know, going through the course and kind of what I've learned and kind of my behaviour and how kind of committed I've been. It's kind of at the point now where I sent something for mastering the other week, and the guy sent it back and said it was, you know, one of the best mixes he'd heard. He really didn't have to kind of alter it that much, and to get it to like a certain volume, he says, is normally like pretty difficult because of the mix. And he didn't have any sort of issues with that at all, and thought it was like one of the best mix things he'd received, which was like pretty amazing for me, because, you know, I never really thought I'd kind of get to that point.
Didn't even say that his wife liked it.
You're cutting out a bit, Mike.
Sorry. Yeah, so we lost each other because of the wonders of modern technology. You are in London and I am in Sydney, after all. So
this is true.
So anyway, you were saying that this mixing engineer said that it was absolutely wonderful. Didn't he? That your track was like one of the best he's got, and he didn't have to do very much. Didn't his wife also say that?
Yeah, he said he kind of sits down and plays like the stuff that he masters to his wife as well, and she like totally loved it,
which is awesome. I think it's always one of the best compliments when the other half likes the stuff. So there was a comment you said in your email which really kind of resonated with me, which was, turns out that actually doing it really does mean that you get better at it.
Yeah, definitely. I think a kind of change in my mindset from doing the course has just been that I'm kind of like, I'm totally committed. I kind of, like, rain or shine, I generally work on my music like every morning. I was, I guess, taking like really big kind of periods. I was contracting in my job, and I was kind of taking big periods off and spending lots and lots of time working on music. But I wasn't really getting anywhere near the results that I am now, where I spend less time each day. But I'm somehow like, I'm a lot more productive and a lot more kind of focused and committed, really. And I'm seeing progress because of that, I think.
So there's going to be some people watching this who aren't thinking of doing the course at all. So what I'd really like you to do is maybe just give them your top tip for what they can do even without doing the course. Something that really, really helped you, that you got out of the course, but which that they can apply in their own life. That maybe just the biggest thing that you changed as a result of the course. That.
So, I mean, there are probably not the right answer, but there are kind of probably two things.
I know, but two's all good. Two's good.
But they're kind of related. I guess I went from being like music was something I kind of did a bit of on the side here and there. It was kind of maybe in my mind a hobby I kind of fitted in, and I feel that like I'm now committed to doing something on it every day, and it somehow feels like, it doesn't just feel like something I fit in here or there. It's something that I make space for before kind of everything else in my day, and just doing that, kind of having that consistent, like doing it every single day, means that even if I only end up doing half an hour in the morning, like I mean, that's what I do. I work on stuff in the morning before my day, and in that half an hour I would have like accomplished something. And the rest of my day I go on knowing that like I've already like accomplished something in that day towards my music. So every day I'm making a little bit more progress. And and over time you see how that makes a difference, really, just that kind of consistent approach.
And that progress, that little by little progress, actually feeds into your motivation, doesn't it? So that
100%.
Yeah, I mean,
totally.
it's where the motivation comes from. So by taking those small actions, not only are you getting somewhere, you're actually also increasing your sense of everything, your sense of power and ability to do it, and and in the end, you're also increasing your skill, which is which you don't increase when you're sitting there watching a tutorial. You might think you are, but you're not. So that, was that one of them, or was that both of the tips? Because
I think that's probably kind of both of them, really. Yeah. I think like the kind of doing stuff every day is, the big thing. But I think there's like a mental bit and just kind of being like committed to it, really, in that way. Like saying you're going to sit down and do something every day is kind of a mental commitment, as well as the physical kind of getting up and just doing it.
But there are actual specific techniques you could use in order to create that commitment and create that sort of sense of and there are actually specific things you can do to actually get into the habit of doing it every day as well.
Definitely.
Because sometimes I think I sometimes get emails from people when they say, I want practical tips on X, Y, and Z. And because of the way that I approach things, they think that what I teach isn't practical. But actually, it's very practical. It's like, do this, then do this, then do that, and you'll end up coming out the other end as kind of a more motivated and individual at the end of the day. It really is like, that's how your kind of brain works. So
definitely, and as you say, I think like being in just having the habit of doing it, and getting those habits of, I think also like it's, beforehand I'd maybe feel like I kind of wasn't getting anywhere with my music, and I'd go off and like I didn't want to kind of sit down and do it, and I now kind of like rain or shine, I do it, and I see that by being in that habit of doing it, like even if before I sat down I was like I'd had a bad week or something like that, I'd still be kind of really productive, and then that would kind of perk me back up and motivate me again.
Yeah. So to finish this little chat we've had, what's coming? I mean, what do you see in your future as a result of these changes that have happened in the last 8 months or so?
Well, kind of everything's changed, really. I think my day job is working in the music industry as well, and that's really exciting.
And it wasn't before?
Sorry, I wasn't working in the music industry before.
No. Were you working in the music? No, okay.
No, I wasn't, no. I was kind of quite split in terms of deciding what I was kind of going to do with my life and where I should be going. I come from kind of quite a technical background, and I think like when I first came to you and when I started the course, I was kind of really a bit unsure about which kind of direction I wanted to go, and now it feels kind of like everything in my life's heading in this kind of same direction, which is really, really nice. I'm kind of what, like, as well, when I started the course, I remember thinking that, like, one appealing factor was that I found production quite a solitary thing. When I first got into music, I kind of got into DJing, and that was quite a social experience, and production wasn't. So I think just, having like the kind of community aspects been really nice. I guess kind of just overcoming some of my fears and really kind of getting out there and like meeting other people. I'm working with like quite a few other producers, which is really nice. Vocalists, 2 vocalists now, and like that was something that I just didn't think I could really kind of go out and do, or kind of thought I kind of didn't know how to do.
It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. It's so I can't tell you how excited I get when I hear stories like this, because I haven't actually heard all of this from you until this moment. So if I'd have shown you this interview, right, and said this is what is you're going to be saying to me it's actually a year, isn't it? It's not 8 months, it's a year, because you started last July. So it's actually birthday time for Start Now Finish Fast, first birthday. But anyway, so if I'd have shown you a video and said, this is what you're going to be saying to me at the, in a year's time, what would you have said back to me?
Probably, why didn't you start offering the course a year earlier? Why?
That's excellent. Brilliant. All right, well, thank you very, very much, Mark. It's been an absolute pleasure, and it's wonderful to hear your success. I can't wait to hear what you do next.
Thanks, Mike. It's been great.
Right, no problem. Take care.